no matter how grand and majestic. In that sense, it's also bound. Right? That is to say, there must be a bond about it. So therefore, this is the highest concept. This is the second derived from it. Unlimited and bound. Now, anything that's unlimited and bound, to say anything at all about it, if you say that it is, then of course you're bringing in the notion of being. So, when you talk about this unlimited and bound as if it has being, then you must talk about it as something that primary category is going to have to be permanency, right? It must stay within that bond, permanency. Right? Permanency. And yet the idea of unlimited is expansiveness, right? Expansiveness. A series of numbers, unlimited number, infinite number, is theoretically motion. Right? Permanency and impermanency are motion. As permanency can be, in contrast, can be talked about as in perfect rest. But for it, for it to have this quality, there's one thing you have to say about it. See, talk about permanency. What follows from that very idea of permanency must be sameness, or same, idea of same. And when you talk in a similar way of something in motion, always in motion, difference. So these are the five, this is the highest concept. Right? This is what naturally follows from it. If this is said, then this can be said. And therefore these are called the five genera, right? The first five things that can be said in any way to be once you assert that there is something unlimited and bound.
Pierre, can you expand business bound? I'm having difficulty.
Well, if it's unlimited, you are talking about something that has some kind of, you're doing something. It has some, what do you want to call it? You have defined it. You have, it's unlimited. Oh, must have a boundary. That's a concept, must have a boundary.
What's that?
Well, see, if you have an infinite series of numbers, right, that may not have any last term, naturally enough, right? But you can talk about numbers, and therefore it is bounded in the sense as you can talk about number as a class of infinite number of members. Bound. Infinite. Good.
So perplexed.
I have a question too.
All right.
Are you saying that the one is at the same time unlimited, and bound?
The first things you can say about it, when you recognize it is inadequate, right, are these two terms. Therefore, in thinking and trying to understand the universe, right, if there is a highest, these two terms would follow. If these two terms can be said to follow, these follow quickly after.
I think this gentleman, in my mind, I I wonder if bound can follow.
Well, bond mean bound, or boundary. How about boundary? Is this not saying something? Uh-oh. Not something else? Then you put some kind of fence around it.
Well, let me tell you where maybe and it's a question of words, my problem arises that this is exactly what the universe is according to Einstein's theory of general relativity. It's unlimited and bound.
Yet bounded,
So
yes, quite true.
Is that what you mean, like the surface of, the reality is in a four-dimensional surface, but the surface of a sphere is unlimited and bound? Is that the kind of...
You may put it into that context, but I'm not.
I know, that's why I'm having, do you see why my mind is kind of freaking out?
Yeah, that is Einstein, unlimited yet bounded.
Okay.
Right, because light is curved, and therefore there must be an enclosed universe within which all space must return. I mean, all light must return since it bends. Yeah.
Question, are you saying infinitely extended or infinitely extendable?
Well, whatever it is unlimited. Now, we haven't decided whether it's power, energy, space, or time. Just that it's, as it is, it's unlimited. That's the first thing can be said about it.
So in other words, if I had an infinite lifetime and I started walking around the earth,
Okay, let
my
me...
path would be infinitely extended but finitely bound.
Okay, let me take you through the reasoning, all right? If we want to assert that there is something called the One, all right, would you agree, from the way we reasoned before, that what we mean by it is it cannot in any way entail a manyness?
So you mean if I get immersed in the One, I'd be infinitely extended in the One, but I'd be finitely bound by it?
I don't know. Would you agree that... No. See, you put three things in there. I would be finitely bound by it.
Oh, if I was...
And I wanted to take that third thing out of there.
Okay, I understand what you're doing.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. So in pure thought, say I want to take out anything unnecessary. If there is such a thing as a one, then it cannot be a many. Right. If it cannot be a many, then would you agree you can never regard it as a whole? For any whole must have a sum of parts. Agree? All right. Would you go further and say, therefore, you can never regard the one as a part? Because a part presupposes a manyness. That is, it is part of a sum of things called a whole. For a part only has a meaning in respect to a whole, and a whole always has a number of parts, and therefore it presupposes that. Would you agree then, if it can either be said to have a whole or a parts, then anything that can be described as a whole or parts would not be applied to the idea of the one? Agree? Let us then try and proceed. Would you agree then if anything we said had a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? A beginning, a middle, and end, those would be distinctions you'd be making in something, and therefore you couldn't therefore attribute those kinds of ideas to the one. But if you cannot say it has a beginning or an end, then it must be. That's the sense in which it's derived. So not because of Einstein or physics or any other consideration, but strictly by a dialectic.
Did you just conclude that the one is infinitely extended and
No.
finitely bound?
No, I just said so far that drawn from this you cannot say it is limited.
Okay,
Therefore it must be unlimited.
Okay, it's the one is unlimited.
That's all. So far. We can go further and see what else we cannot
Well,
we
I just
must
wanted
deny.
I did hear you say something about a boundary.
Yes.
So it's unlimited and
Yeah.
bounded.
Now I want to go back. Now that we have unlimited,
All right.
all right? Would you agree we are talking about something, the one, that is